Happy Monday afternoon, everybody. It's Scott Beebe, My Business on Purpose. Hope everybody had a great weekend and a killer Monday. You know, I love Mondays. I got to be honest with you. I like Mondays. I love getting back into it. Our weekend was fantastic, but Mondays are fun for me because it's an opportunity to come live out what God's put inside of all of us to be able to serve people. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying your Monday. I had lunch today with a client of mine, and we got together with a bona fide deca-millionaire. I'm sure I've met some before, but we got to sit down and go have lunch, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to share with you guys a couple of the things that I learned. You talk about wisdom, sitting down over a salad with a guy who has started and sold lots of businesses. One of his businesses had almost 70,000 people in the business that he oversaw. He ran a very successful restaurant chain, which most of you have heard of, and he's also done real estate. He started out in the trades, didn't go to college, and so we sat down and we had an incredible lunch. So here's the first thing, and this might surprise you. It's the first thing because he was asking me what I do, and told him the opportunity we've got to be able to serve small business owners and liberate them from the chaos of working in their business. And so I told him some of the elements of that, and he said, you know, I didn't hear you say culture. And I said, well, feed into me, man. That's why I'm here. I'm here to learn. That's why I'm here to learn from you. And he said, I have found that culture is the priority. Culture has got to be the priority in any business. He said, I've run through everything. I've run through financials. I've run through employee hiring, firing, training, all of it. And all those things are good. They're crucial. They're important. But the most important is the culture. He said, I've bought businesses, I've started businesses, and I've merged businesses. And I can tell you hands down, what I learned out of the gate is the one thing that's going to tell me the success or the failure of that business is the culture that business resides. And so it's a question I've got for you, I've got for me. What's the culture that not only you live in, but what's the culture that you're building? Because this guy said, for him, over a 30-year career in multiple industries, that culture is the most defining factor of the success or the failure of a business. So that was number one. Number two is he asked, where's the blue sky in your business? And you need to go there because there's so many questions that small business owners have about, do I scale? Do I go into this? And quite frankly, there are a lot of us that live on this side of the recession in the United States that we're looking back going, oh my goodness, is that going to happen again? And you know what he said? He just came right out because we asked that question. He said, don't worry about that. There's so many safeguards in place. It's going to be very, very hard for that kind of recession to happen again. He said there's always going to be up and downs. Don't get me wrong, but that kind of level of recession, it's going to be a long time before that probably happens because of the safeguards in place. But he said, regardless of that, here's the thing you got to realize. Where is the blue sky? Where's the opportunity in your business? And you grow towards that opportunity. And if you can start taking these assets of your business, whatever it might be, if it's just intellectual, if you've got tangible assets like vehicles or whatever that earn the revenue for the business that allow you to be able to serve people with the skill that you have, find the blue sky and grow that way. So that was number two. Number three, and this touches on a lot of small business owners because you're thinking, when can I grow this thing up to go sell it? Because once I can sell it, man, I'm on a boat to the Bahamas, right? I hear that a bunch. May not be a boat in the Bahamas, but somewhere. They just want to kind of live the life, sell this thing, and move on. And you know what he said? It kind of shocked me. He said, don't ever look to sell the business. If your business is sellable, they will find you. And he said, so I never grew a business to look to sell it. But what I found was, as I grew the business, I never had to find somebody to sell it because they would always find you. So number one most important thing, culture, culture, culture. Number two, where's the blue sky and grow there. Number three, don't look to sell the business, they'll find you. Here's the fourth thing out of five that I learned from having lunch today with a deca-millionaire. And it was building a business is hard and it's not a 40-hour-a-week gig. Now this is tough because there's a lot of folks that are coming into the business community right now and I'm helping them write their vision story. Well, one of the things they want to do is be able to work 8 hours a week. Tim Ferriss had his 4-hour work week. I mean, there's so many things from a millennial mindset that says, I just want to work 3 hours a week, make what they call mailbox money, cash this thing in so that I can go travel the world, so that I can go, do whatever, become a philanthropist. There are many that have a faith-based background and they just want to do philanthropy. That's great. But the reality is when you're building a business that's going to last, this guy was very upfront to say it is not a 40-hour-a-week proposition. In many cases, it's a lot more than that. Sometimes it's a lot less than that. It just depends on what's going on and what type of business you have. Fifth thing that I learned today from this deca-millionaire having lunch with him is the fifth thing is don't force your passion to be their passion. Oh my goodness, think about this. Some of you are growing in your industry, you're growing a business because you want to pass it off to your kids. And you know what he said about that? Is if I would have passed off, and he was talking about this restaurant chain that he owned, it's now got about 1,000 stores in it. If I would have passed that off to my son would have been miserable. Instead, what he has right now, the type of business he has now, his son runs the business because it's his son's passion. So he took his money, he took his wealth and invested in something because he wanted to work with his son, invested in something that was a passion for his son that he could identify with. And so he said, don't force your passion to be their passion. And I'm not just talking about business ownership either. This is in life as well. This is in parenting as well. Don't necessarily force your passion to be their passion. Instead, introduce your passion and introduce it in such a way where it's so tempting. And we can think that a lot of ways. Many of you are believers. You're gospel-centered people. And so we've got to be careful on how we force our passion. Man, there's nothing more grating than somebody's trying to force their passion on you. Hey, buy my passion, buy my passion. I'm like, I don't want your passion. I don't want anything having to do with your passion, because if your passion is going to turn me into you, I'm not interested, right? And so here it was, the 5 things that I thought were very, very interesting. Number 1, culture has got to be the priority. Number 2, where's the blue sky, and grow towards that blue sky. Stop being so scared about what's around us. Man, that was a real touch point for me, because some of you I've told before, I live in fear. I tend to live in fear a lot. And so he's basically saying, hey man, cut that out. Find the blue sky and grow there. Number 3, don't look to sell the business. If you want a sellable business, make it sellable. Lead it to be sellable, and then the buyers will come find you. Don't try to go find them. Number 4, building a business is hard, and it is not a 40-hour-a-week proposition. And finally, number 5, and I thought this was really powerful, is don't force your passion to be their passion. Man, God's given you a certain gifting. He's given you a certain wiring. Go live that out. But you know what? He may not have given that to your spouse. He may not have given that to your kids. He may not have given that to somebody that you want to look to hire. Don't force your passion to be their passion. I thought it was a real powerful moment. So there it is. I don't get to do that much. Lunch with a deca-millionaire. You know what? He put his pants on the same way that I put mine on today. They're all the same. We're all the same. God's put some unique abilities within each of us, and when we live that ability out, it takes us to different places. And you know what? This guy just went to a different place, but we got to sit down and have lunch together. It was a real treat for us to be able to do that. So you small business owners out there, listen, culture is priority. Find the blue sky, grow there. Number 3, don't look to sell the business. The buyers will find you if you build a great business. Number 4, it's not a 40-hour-a-week proposition. Number 5, maybe the most powerful point, was don't force your passion to be their passion. So there you go, guys. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you embrace the day this Monday and to go do some great things to serve other people with the skill set that God's given you. Happy Monday. Have a great week.